Did you ever have trouble keeping an even balance? Oh, I'm not talking about your walking balance. Yeah, I'm sure you had times when you didn't have your balance proper. You know, when you get that inner ear thing. Oh, I've had that a few times. Talk about off balance. But I'm talking about balance between, you know, the middle of the road. Or is it just me? You ever wonder why I do these videos? Well, some things that I get excited about. Some things I really have a strong belief on. And some things I find that really help me. And I want to share them with you. What's the point of information, especially really good stuff, if you don't share it? It's like, what good is that? So I find things that make me happy, that give me, oh, beautiful blue jay, I missed him, that make me, where was I? Oh, that really make me happy, that give me an inner peace. I believe with all my heart. I know where I came from, I know why I'm here, and I know where we're going. And I just want to share those things with you. So that's why I do it. And then I know, of course, look at this Remembrance Day. Do you think this is a Remembrance Day that we'll all remember? And why? Why do you think we'll remember this Remembrance Day? Well, I know why. I wonder if you do. Don Cherry. Hey? Didn't he get himself in a big pile of trouble? Oh, wait, 2 words. Oh. You know, how many words have we said that were bad or not proper, got ourselves in big trouble? I know I've got in trouble. I never want to hurt anybody. My intention is never to hurt anybody. And sometimes I say things and my wife says, you can't tell jokes. I remember when I was just a young guy, 22, 23, I became the manager of College Press in Oshawa. And I was green. And Lorna was working for me. She was one of the students because it was Kingsway College Press. We worked half a day, went to school half a day. Now I got to turn around here and go back now. I don't want to go into the neighbor's property. So I asked her to do something. Me being the boss, and she wasn't only a few years younger than I am, or was, I still am, Anyway, I asked her to do something. She said, no, I'm the boss, right? No, I'm not going to do that. I think, well, you got to do it. No, I don't have to do it. Yes, you do. No, she said, I won't do that. I'll quit. I said, you can't quit. You're fired. And I walked away and laughed. Well, 15 or 20 minutes later, I looked around and Lorna wasn't there. I said to the rest of the employees, where's Lorna? Oh, they said, you fired her. She's going back to the dorm. What? No, I was only kidding with her. So, I had to call up to the dorm, tell Lorna to get back to work. I was only carrying on with her. Like I said, my wife said, you can't joke with people. So there's a fine balance between joking and carrying on and being serious. I would never fire anybody like that. So anyway, got to be careful how I say things and what I say. But find the middle of the road. But you think the world's falling apart? You don't have to think it. You know it. How's that? Well, of course, it was interesting. I got so many things I want to talk about and share with you. I don't know where to start. And so I have a hard time knowing when to start and when to stop and in between. As you can see, I rattle on a lot. So, matter of fact, a few weeks ago, we had some customers at the frame shop. And I don't know how we got onto the subject, but creation and evolution. Well, no bones about it. I believe in creation. I'm convinced you'll never change my mind no matter what you do. Matter of fact, I was having this discussion with a family member one day, and the question came up about the evidence. I said, it's simple. I don't have enough faith to believe in evolution. Now, I can't prove creation, and you can't prove evolution. There was no evolution until Darwin came around. Everybody believed in creation. He believed that God created the world in 6 days, rested the seventh. Ooh, there's a topic. The seventh-day Sabbath. We'll have to talk about that one. So anyway, these folks, we got talking about creation and evolution. I just don't have enough faith to believe in evolution. Believe that something can come out of nothing. Now, I can't explain God always being either. That blows my mind. And I can't explain never ending. Like, how can you never, ever, ever die? But you know what helps me? One little thing. Life. You know, this is the only thing that helps me understand never ending. Where did I come from? My parents. Where did they come from? Their parents. That spark of life. It never gets old. Life doesn't get old. That spark of life or the breath of life. It doesn't age. What ages is the body. Because my life and my wife's have passed on to our kids. And it just keeps going, and you go back and back and back to Adam and Eve. So that helps me understand. Life doesn't get old, the body gets old. I know it's not a very good one, but that's the best I can come up with. So anyway, and sometimes when I go into doctor's offices, you know, I had both retinas fall off my eyes, not at the same time, but I'm fortunate to be able to see. And here's my favorite spot, well, one of my favorite spots. Oh, look at the ducks. Look at that. Hi, ducks. Quack, 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 quack. When I was a kid, we used to hunt ducks, and I'd never shoot another thing in my life. Those beautiful birds. What for? What we shoot them for? I don't know. Anyways, good thing you get a little wiser when you get older, hopefully. So anyway, back to the doctors. When I was of course, I didn't know what was going on. One morning I woke up and everything was fuzzy, like there was dust in my eye. And I called, they said, you better get in right away. So in they said, your retina, your vitreous separated. Well, okay. They said, now if it gets worse, you be sure to come in. So a week later, I see this cloud, not a cloud, it was like black. And I called, they said, oh, your retina's falling off, you gotta get in here right away. So I did. They gave me some stuff, and I told me I had to lay down, face down, get that thing back in shape. Well, it started falling off and it wouldn't get put back on. They said, we're gonna have to sew it on. I what? Yeah, we're gonna have to put a needle in your eye, freeze your, no! You know, I know what it's like to have a piece of dirt in my eye or an eyelash. A needle in my eye? Are you kidding? Oh, he said, we'll freeze it first. Whew, well, they froze it. I couldn't believe it. You know, it wasn't bad. And I'm awake laying there, they're operating on it. Oh, anyway, the whole point of the matter is, I had to go back in there a number of times. And I look at the diagrams of the eye. Whoa, is that ever complicated or what? I look at it and I said, so, this is an amazing piece of equipment, this eye. Yes. I said, so are you an evolutionist or a creationist? They never know how to answer me. And I also had, I imitate people when they come through the museum. And a lot of times I talked about Sadie. Well, her real name was Sadie. I call her something else in my book. And Peggy has a little confrontation with her. And I used my Aunt Marjorie's line, why she never get married. And so I said, Aunt Marjorie was so comical. And she said, we always asked her why she wasn't going to get married, why she never get married. Hey, you think I'm going to be some human incubator for some old buzzard? Well, she said, oh man, but I changed it to buzzard. We used to laugh. Human incubator. So, why did I tell you that? I forget. You know how it is. When the older you get, the more you forget. I forget my point. This happens all the time. So, oh yeah. Imitating Susie is what I call her. Because when Peggy shouldn't be there, but she goes to take a shortcut over Susie. This is based on a real story. In Peggy's Cove, there was a cranky lady, and there was a right-of-way over her property. When anybody used it, she chased you with her broom, literally. And I remember when I was about 4 years old, we were crossing over that to go back to Clam Pond, and even my parents, my mother and father, they were a little hesitant. Well, if they were hesitant, you know what I am, terrified. Anyway, Peggy tries sneaking past. Susie comes flying out of the house and blocks Peggy, and she has her broom in her hand, and Peggy's trying to get around, and she darts past the clothesline, but the wind blew the clothes, and when Susie swung the broom, and Peggy ducks, and Susie hits the clothesline and breaks her old rope clothesline, and down come the clothes on Peggy, and Susie prances over, and of course Peggy's terrified, and she starts trying to justify her reasons and starts talking to Susie and trying to justify why she used it, and of course finally Peggy asked us, you had to read the book to get the story. It's in my second one called Secrets. So finally she says, how come you never get married? Yeah, she says, wait, you think I was going to be some human incubator for some old buzzard? I guess not. Well, I used to do that every time somebody came in. I'd give that story. And I strained my voice. Man, I could hardly talk. I had to go to I don't know what you call him, specialist. He had all this, he had all this diagrams there showing the throat and all that, and the voice box. I said, how come when you breathe, the air goes in your lungs? How come when you swallow, it goes in your stomach? Oh, he said, there's a little trapdoor on your esophagus. I don't know if I'm going to get all this right or not. He said, when you swallow, the trapdoor closes and the food goes down to the stomach. I said, every time you swallow? Yes. Oh, I said, that's amazing. So when you breathe, it opens. When you swallow, it closes. Yep. Wow. That's amazing. So tell me, you believe in evolution or creation? He said, some of each. Come on. We're so marvelously designed. You think that just happened? If you do, you got a lot more faith than I have. Anyway, so this back to the couple that were there in the framing shop. We got talking about evolution and creation. And I said, look at all the evidence. And it's the flood. I said, how do you make diamonds? Heat and pressure? Yeah. How do you make coal? Heat and pressure? Yeah. How do you make oil? Vegetation, heat and pressure. How do you make fossils? Pressure, heat. Yeah, I said, all that evidence is a flood. But the scientists don't want to believe it was a flood. God said, and look at all the mountains and stuff that's been eroded, and you can see the layers. The earth, when God created it, was magnificent. And all this vegetation, these are toothpicks, these trees. These are like toothpicks compared to what it was. And Adam and Eve were huge compared to what we are. And I believe it. Simple as that. And so we talked about all those things. And man, I said, look at, how old do you think the earth is? Oh. Well, you know, billions of years old. So, well, the Bible says 6,000. If it's billions of years old, why are we in the year 2019? Why isn't it 56,200,2019? Well, you know, well, that's man. No, that's the Bible. I said, you go back to Adam and Eve and you count all the years up, because it tells right from Adam how many years he lived. And you can go right through the record and you'll come up to 2019. That's history. It's there. But evolutionists, they don't want to believe it. Well, but we can believe that the Big Bang. And I said to one person one day, how come, if it's a Big Bang, I used to, how come all the things are round, all the worlds are round, and billions and billions and billions of them? I said, now when I was a kid, Johnny Rayfuse had a pit just up behind our place. And they had all these big rocks. Speaking of rocks, I'll show you some here in a minute. They had all these big rocks. Hope that wind isn't blowing too loud. I'm trying to keep the mic from getting too noisy. But all these big rocks that they couldn't put on trucks because they didn't have front end loaders then. They had a bulldozer, but they used to build this ramp on the hill, and it was come out over the back of the truck. The truck would drive under, and then they dumped right onto the back of the truck. Look here, talk about rocks. There's rocks. That's what they were like. Some bigger. Well, they used to blast them. Boy, did I ever love that. They would drill them, and then they put a dynamite in them, and all these wires. They had a whole whack of them all drilled at once. And then they would push I don't know what you call that thing. The rocks would blow. We'd run and hide behind some rocks or trees before they dropped that plunger and blew the rocks. Whoa! You know what? None of those rocks came out round. They were rough and tough and all kinds of shapes. I said, how come there's a Big Bang and they go in every direction? How come if we're in a Big Bang, all the planets are round? And they're all in order. And some of them they go right through one another, some of these galaxies, and they don't collide. All that's in order. How's that happen? Creator, that's how it happens. I believe. And I said, and another thing, somebody just pointed out to me, how come the moon is always facing the same direction? Everything spins in space. How come we always see the same face on the moon? The man in the moon. That's a mystery. Anybody got an explanation for that? Anyway, I believe in creation. 6 days, which brings us back to Remembrance Day. Boy, there were people really upset because what Don Cherry said. They forgot all the good he did. It's just 2 words. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. I'm going to go back this way because the wind is blowing and I don't want to. I'm nearly wrapping it up here. I've been going for quite a while. I don't intend to rattle on and on and on, but I do. So, Today is Friday. Bible says 6 days God created the earth, 7th day he rested. And that's the Sabbath. That's why we have the 7-day calendar. Everything doesn't make sense. Why do we have a 7-day week? Who came up with that? Well, read the Bible. And I remember, sometimes I'm going to repeat myself. My brother-in-law said recently, there won't be any Sunday keepers in heaven. Ooh, wow, that's a bold statement. But if you look up Isaiah 66:23, it says, this is talking about the new earth. Because God's going to recreate this world. We're just about to that point because the world's all going to come to an end, whether you believe it or not. You study Daniel and Revelation, and you will see that we're at the end. The thing's falling apart. Yeah. That's what gives me peace. I know where we're going. I know it's like, exciting. Terrible and exciting. It's terrible things that are happening. But it's an exciting time to be living. So anyway, you study Daniel and Revelation? I'm talking studying. Woo! Go to Amazing Facts. Take one of their Bible studies there on the lessons in Daniel and Revelation. Oh, there's lots of stuff there. You'll find out where we are and where we're going. So anyway, that gives me that inner peace. So, yep, 6 days. And tomorrow, sundown, that was God's time. Sundown to sundown is 1 day. And that's his day of rest, because it says, as for a new earth, a new heaven and new earth that I will create, all flesh shall come and worship before me, says the Lord. From one new moon to another, from one Sabbath to another. That's the Old Testament. That's the Sabbath, the 7th-day Sabbath. And that's what it's going to be in heaven. So how do we get from God's appointed day to remember? That's what the commandment says, remember. 6 days I created the world, 7th I rested, I blessed it. People say, oh, that was for the Jews. Jews weren't even around when God created Adam and Eve and finished his work on the 6th day. He said, I blessed it. It's a day, I made this for you to remember me. Not just once a year like Remembrance Day, but every 7th day. If we had remembered like we should, there would never be any evolutionists. We would all believe in the Creator. Anyway, that gives me peace, gives me hope, and builds my faith. When I study the Bible, and I'm not a great scholar, don't get me wrong, but when I study and learn what I've learned, it gives me that inner peace that I need. And I really need it. Everybody needs that peace. And I'm just repeating myself now. So we're going to close with that. I'm going back and forth here so I don't get the wind blowing, because when I go back, the wind is going to be really howling in my mic. So I just want to share those things with you. And I hope they become a blessing to you. Yep. Going to meet in heaven. Going to worship every Sabbath. That's the facts. And I want to share that with you. So have a great weekend. If you've never kept the Sabbath before, why not start? See you later.